What's going on, y'all? Welcome into another episode of Believe in Kentucky as we come in real quick to put a bow on this basketball season. Just came to an end this afternoon in St. Louis at the hands of the Iowa State Cyclones. Kentucky falls 82 to 63 in St. Louis at the Enterprise Arena. Coming to you as always on the Believe Network, BLEAV.com. This episode will be there. The archived episodes are there. Subscribe where you get the podcast. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Check us out on Twitter. The link tree is there. All the platforms are there. Follow on TikTok, Facebook, and leave comments. We definitely would appreciate that. And tell your friends about us. We'd appreciate that as well. Give 5 stars. Give everybody subscribe. All that good stuff just helps us grow. And we thank y'all for taking the time to do all that. This season has come to an end. What a roller coaster ride it was. So many ups, so many downs, so many things that cause frustration. U2 for Mark Pope is done now. And just looking at this game, first of all, fortunate to be here. Thanks to Otega Owe Friday. Forcing overtime, with a dramatic shot against Santa Clara. Cats are able to pull away in overtime. They get past the Broncos. They break the Broncos and Herb Sendek to get to Iowa State. And Kentucky's a 7 seed. They earn a 7 seed. Win your first round game as a 7, most likely get a 2 seed. That's what they did. They got Iowa State as that 2 seed. And it's just, I saw Chris Fisher tweeted out, you just kind of have to laugh. You hope for fast starts all season long. For the majority of these games, we saw Kentucky fall behind double digits, 15 plus points. And Father Corey Price on Twitter so many times about Kentucky having to rally or Kentucky behind and this and that. Well, hey, don't fall behind right off the bat. Kentucky comes out and throws the first punch. They build a double-digit lead. Kentucky's up 18-6, 20-9. All the threes they were missing in Nashville in the tournament. Struggles in round 1 of the tournament. Come out, shooting the lights out. You're hot. You're on fire. Punching Iowa State in the mouth, which is what you have to do. But the other part of what we've seen this season, the consistently being inconsistent, that part showed up as well. The tale of 2 halves, the tale of 2 teams, the tale of 2 different games within the same game, whatever you want to call it. Instead of getting down big and having to rally, Kentucky was up decent, semi-big for them, and then it came apart in the middle. Up 18-6, and then they're down, up 12 to down 12 really quickly. We got to 48-40 pretty quick, so that was a 42-22 run by Iowa State. They were down 12, then they're up 8. They went on to extend it. They got it up to 20. They ended up winning by 19. This run, not as brutal, but still bad to be on the wrong side of this type of run. Think back to the game against Texas A&M at College Station. Kentucky's up 30-18. Again, up 12. And get hit with that 35-6 run. Go up 30-18. Blink your eye, and they're down 53-36. So instead of getting hit upside the head to start the game, they started well, weathered the storm, and then got hit upside the head and punched in the mouth in the middle portion of the game, and then lost going away. So it just, the order of things was reversed, inverted, flip-flop, switched around from what we have, I won't say grown accustomed to, but saw consistently happen on a regular basis. We saw early deficits on a consistent basis. This time we got a lead and then got punched in the mouth. Then the other team pulled away. So that's what happened. You'll see the point about injuries playing a role. Was this team injured? Was this team shorthanded? Yeah, can't deny that at all. But I still, you can't just use that as a crutch, as an excuse to, hey, Mark Pope reserves the team to have an injury-free year. You may never get a team with an injury-free season. Injuries are part of the game. You guys, how you manage it. And this team has been consistently inconsistent. But you look at the Vanderbilt game at home. They handled Vanderbilt at home, won by 14, 91-77. And it wasn't even that close. They handled business against Vanderbilt, who was the SEC tournament runner-up, who was a bucket away from beating Nebraska and going to the Sweet 16 themselves last night. The way they played against Vanderbilt showed us all what they were capable of doing, even though they were shorthanded. So to just keep saying, oh, injuries, wait till we're full strength, want to see Mark Pope have a team at full strength. Yes, we do. But if he doesn't have that, I'd also like to just see him manage the shorthanded squad better. And it's safe to say that that could have been done. If he's being honest, probably things he could have done better, even though they were shorthanded. Saw him in his post-game presser today. They weren't able to play how they wanted to play due to the injuries. We all know Denzel Aberdeen was not brought in to be a point guard. Necessity forced him to do that. Mark Pope talked about developments that happened in the spring, causing him to be light at point guard. Travis Perry transferred. Aiden Lewis goes to Villanova. It would be nice to have those guys to be on reserve. Once you saw that Jalen Lowe was not going to be able to be healthy, that wasn't the case. So, yeah, you have to play different. Could you also maybe pivot and switch up on the fly a little better? Probably. Hate to bring up football, but we've all watched Kentucky football. What happened the year Terry Wilson got hurt? What happened when Lynn Bowden played quarterback? You think that Kentucky team wanted to play that way? You think Eddie Graham wanted to run the offense that way? No. But you pivot and find something with your personnel that can be effective and win games, and then you roll with that. And I just think maybe we could have done a little bit better job of finding something to go out and win games. When you had to pivot, when the point guard situation was different, you got a first-year power forward. We had all of those things. JQ was out, Cam Williams was out, Jalen was out, all of that. We flashed back to last year and those injuries and felt like it was handled better. It was managed better. And we look at last year, like, man, look at that. Despite all those injuries, look what they were able to do. Took that team to the Sweet 16. And then a year later, we're not feeling the same way. So, if he just looks at his year one versus year two, he could probably say, I probably could have done some things better in year one. Even if it goes to roster construction, or then once the roster is what it is, manage the roster better. So look, that's on them to figure that out going into year 3, and we'll see if they're able to do that. I'll share some screen stuff if I'm able to. Y'all know I'm on the struggle bus when it comes to that. Let's see. Click on that. Share that. Let's see. Mark Pope in 2 years at Kentucky, 46-26, 20-16 in the SEC, 10-8 seasons. Now 10-8 last year with a monster SEC, and then you go on and get to the Sweet 16. Okay, 10-8 this year. The league isn't as strong. Yeah, 3-2 overall in the SEC tournament. 1 Sweet 16, 1 round of 32. All that just boils down to next year being Huge for Mark Pope. He knew what he signed up for coming in here. He even talked about his post-game presser, giving props to Owe and Denzel, but the results of this season aren't what Kentucky fans expect. Kentucky expects as a program. Kentucky expects as an athletic department, as a university. Him as a coach, he knows. He played for Kentucky. He was able to help Kentucky achieve what those expectations are. So he knows what they are going into year 3. Huge year 3. Everybody knows it. Put together a good roster. It's got to fit. Talked about getting guys to come in and building around the bigs, Marino, Yelovich, and then going from there and getting guys who want to fit. Hey, do it. Do it. It knows what he's signing up for. Again, it's just comes with the territory. The injuries. I mean, you might have injuries next year. You might have injuries every single year, but it's just how you go about handling it, managing those injuries when they occur. That's the thing. Look at Iowa State. Jefferson out. Lost him Friday. Their best player. They got punched in the mouth, got down 18-6, but the backup stepped in there and dropped 20 and balled out and helped knock us out today. So credit TJ and the Cyclones. They had to pivot. They had one day to get used to him, the gut punch of, hey, oh man, this dude's not gonna be able to play. They managed, and now they're going to the Sweet 16 to play the winner of Tennessee and Virginia, and looks like Tennessee's up at the half. And on that note, if Kentucky got into the Sweet 16, say Tennessee beats Virginia, would we have wanted Kentucky, Tennessee Sweet 16 round 2 in back-to-back years, given the way this Kentucky team has played? It was brutal losing to them last year in the Sweet 16. To go into Chicago and have to play them again in round 3, potentially lose to them twice in the tournament, and they still probably won't make a Final Four. And, they're going to hear about it from everybody and their mama until they do. But still, losing to them twice in a row in the tournament would have been absolutely brutal. Now, we'll never know because Kentucky's season has come to an end, and they look to make the needed changes, do what they got to do to be what everybody expects them to be what Mark Pope expects them to be, to come in and compete for banners, to come in and have extended stays in Nashville, all the things he said in the introductory presser that turned us around from being a little skeptical to saying, okay, let's go. Year 3 is the time to get Kentucky back to all of that. So this offseason, man, it is going to be something else. Something else. That's an understatement of the year. But every decision, got to get some recruits. Got to reevaluate how you handle the portal. You had a full normal amount of time in the portal this past year, but you flash back to his first year, they were coming in late on the fly, getting just what's left in the portal, and did a better job constructing the roster. So, look, they got to analyze a lot and think and tinker and figure it out. But, man, it is unbelievable. So, but yeah, the inconsistencies, you look at today again, we've all seen the Discovery Channel stuff, the python, the anaconda, whatever it is, it gets the prey, the rat, the deer, whatever, and you just see it slowly choke the life out of that prey. And that's what happened to Kentucky, especially the end of the first half and on into when Iowa State just went on that run and took control of the game. They just choked the life out of Kentucky. they got hit in the mouth early. Kentucky's hitting threes and doing what they want, and things coming easy. You know, Bruce Gibbons say, surely to goodness, but they relax because things were coming easy. And then when the screws got tightened up on them, they couldn't respond. And the heat got turned up on them, and they weren't able to handle it. They weren't able to respond. And it's like that python. They just slowly squeezed the life out of Kentucky till they couldn't breathe, choked them out, and the game was pretty much over. So, had to come on here and recap it. Next year is huge, like we said. Props to all the guys that were here. Owe, Denzel, for sure. Listen, we'll take Owe in 2 years. He just passed Antonio Reeves in scoring for a 2-year player. The game he had, the 35 and 8 and 9 against Santa Clara, the shot to force overtime, we're never gonna forget any of that. He falls into that she-boy territory where we appreciate everything that he did. Hate that he just wasn't able to do it on better teams and do it on teams that had better March runs, better seasons in March. That's where he's gonna fall, and just hate that guy did all that and it didn't lead to more fruitful marches. Joe Crawford falls in that territory. His last game where he's balling out against Marquette. Guys that were just hoopers and landed on the line, and they don't have a title like AD. They don't have the Final Fours, like Wall, like Elite Eight like Wall, Final Four like Brandon Knight, teams of that nature. Even going back, to Dan Issel, he had productive runs. Kenny Walker in a Final Four. These guys, Owe, Denzel, they didn't get those deep tournament runs, but they still gave some good effort and had great, heroic, legendary type things. All the videos and interaction from Owe sending Kentucky to the second round, you never forget that. So now we'll just wait to see what happens this offseason. Go back and rewatch the 2 wins against Tennessee. Go back and rewatch the win against Arkansas. The highlights from this roller coaster ride. Baseball is here now. Spring practice is coming. We will wait, anticipate, scrutinize, analyze what this basketball staff does between now and Big League management to see them again. In the meantime, we get tomorrow tournament against West Virginia in Morgantown. If they can get that done and get to the 16. But I had to put a bow on the basketball season. Cole Park will be in here, and I'll be back Tuesday. Yes, I'm saying that. I hope you have about basketball and football. All the each and every so they only believe it. I will sign off right now. Only believe it. Okay. See you.